Hi friends, we're going to do Fundations. So Monday's Fundations, we're going to start with Unit 11. That's where I was with my class. It's okay though, if you are on a different unit with your class, we're going to start at Unit 11. We're learning 3 different sounds that say long E. So remember, E usually says E, ed, eh when it's a short E, but when we have a long E, it says E. So you can spell it with E-E, E-A, or E-Y. We're going to sort those words into those 3 different categories. The first example is a Jeep. A Jeep is like a big SUV. Jeep is spelled J-E-E-P. A word with E-A would be eat. Eat. E-A-T is eat. You can still hear the E sound, long E. And the last word is key, K-E-Y. You can still hear the E at the end. So Jeep, eat, key. If you have your notebook out or a piece of paper, you can help me by writing E-E, E-A, and E-Y on your paper. You can make 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, and you can write all the words that we're going to learn today that have E-E, E-A, E-Y. When I'm done, I'll show you our spelling list. You can have a spelling test at home on Friday if you want to study your words this week. Okay, we are going to use this story called Winter Daydream. I'm going to read it. Now remember, if you watched our ELA lesson, we talked about visualizing. This story doesn't have any pictures. So the only way that you're going to remember what this story is about is if you paint those pictures in your mind. After I read this story, we're going to find some words that have these sounds, and we're going to see if we can figure out if it's an E-E, E-A, or E-Y. Ready to visualize the story? It was a hot, steamy day. School was out for the summer. Most of the kids were thrilled, but Lee was not. He did not care for the heat. He did like to go for a swim with his friends, but he really missed the winter months. In the winter, Lee got to play hockey. He could skate all weekend and after school and during the week. He had to be at the rink by 5 in the morning, but he did not mind at all. His dad drove him to the rink and they would eat donuts and have hot drinks on the way there. Are you picturing it? So far in my picture, in my mind, I'm picturing a little boy named Lee who likes to play hockey, and he knows that in the summer he can't really play hockey because it's too hot and ice would melt. So he's remembering in the winter when he goes to play hockey and his dad gives him a ride to the hockey rink and they have donuts and hot drinks. What kind of hot drinks do you think they're having on the way with their donuts? Maybe some hot chocolate. Maybe dad's got a hot coffee. Second paragraph. Lee began to daydream about his last season. He's thinking about it in his head. His team had a great year. They played well together and they worked so hard. They won most of their games and they made the playoffs. Lee and his friend Pete were the key players on the team. They could both skate quite fast. It seemed that each time Lee passed the puck to Pete, Pete shot it in the net. One of the playoff games went into 3 overtimes. The next team to score would win the game. All the players felt weak. It is not easy to skate fast for a long time. Lee's team was short 1 player because Pete was in the penalty box. It seemed like the other team was going to win that game. So I'm visualizing in my mind what this part is talking about. So Lee is daydreaming. Did you ever daydream before? I hope you're not daydreaming right now. It means that you're not really thinking about what's going on. You're thinking about something else. So he started to think about in the winter when he played hockey and he had such a great year. His friends, they played with him. He was skating really fast. He remembered that they would feel weak when they had to skate fast for a long time. And his friend Pete were great players on the team until Pete was in the penalty box. That means that he probably did something that he wasn't supposed to do and the referee had to give him a penalty, like a timeout. It seemed like the other team was going to win the game. This is the end of the story now. Lee stole the puck from the other team. He began to skate and picked up speed. He kept his eyes on the net. He snuck past 3 players from the other team. He shot the puck at the net and saw it fly into the top corner. Lee's team won the big game. Lee jumped into the air and landed on the ice. All of his teammates leaped on top of him. Lee would never forget this game, not even on a hot, steamy summer day. So that's how it ended. So he's remembering that he stole the puck from the other team. He picked up speed. He looked at the net. He snuck past the players and he shot it in there up in the top corner, and their whole team won the game. He jumped into the air and landed on the ice. Do you know what vocabulary word we can say? We say that they got a, starts with a V, victory. They got a victory. He won the game. He said he'll never forget this, even on a hot summer day. So I'm going to go back and we're going to say some of the words that were in the story that might fit under some of these columns. Let's see if we can figure it out. It was a hot, steamy day. So the word steamy. Take a guess if you think steam. Steam is like smoke almost that comes up. Mrs. Sabuda taught you about steam in science, and I'm sure Mrs. O'Connor did too. When you talked about solid, liquid, and gas, you talked about steam. Where do you think that would go? Take a guess. It's actually S-T-E-A-M. You can add steam to your chart. It was a hot, steamy day and school was out for the summer. Most of the kids were thrilled, but Lee was not. Lee is our character. Where do you think Lee, his name would go? Lee, L-E-E, Lee, L-E-A, Lee, L-E-Y. Have you seen the name Lee before? I think Mrs. Sabuda has one in her class. Lee is actually L-E-E, Lee. That's our character's name. He did not care for the heat. Heat, it was so hot. Let's think about the word heat when you've seen it in stories. H-E-E-T, H-E-A-T, H-E-Y-T. That doesn't seem right. H-E-Y-T. Heat. Figure out where do you think it goes. Heat actually goes with steam. Heat and steam. You can add that to your paper. He did like to go for a swim with his friends, but he really missed the winter months. In the winter, Lee got to play hockey. Hockey! That has a long E sound. Hockey. So, hockey with 2 E's at the end, hockey with an E-A at the end, or hockey with an E-Y at the end. Hockey. That looks familiar. Where do you think hockey goes on this list? E-Y, you're right. Hockey. You can add that word to your paper. H-O-C-K-E-Y. He could skate all weekend and after school and during the week. During the week. We learned about days of the week. Week. W-E-E-K, week. E-A-K or E-Y. This one means days of the week because he said he could skate every month and every week of the month. Week actually is spelled like this, W-E-E-K. That means days of the week, but we're going to talk about that again in a minute. But days of the week is E-E-K. Let's keep reading. In the winter, he got to play hockey. He could skate all weekend. Week and weekend. We can also put week end. That's the same. And after school during the week. Week and weekend. He had to be at the rink by 5 in the morning, but he did not mind at all. His dad drove him to the rink, and they would eat donuts and have hot drinks on the way there. They would eat donuts. We have eat on our list. Lee began to daydream. Ooh, daydream. Let's talk about the word dream. Where would dream go? Dream. Dream. D-R-E-Y-M. That doesn't seem right. Dream. Figure out where do you think daydream would go. That would be here. Dream. D-R-E-A-M. You can change it to daydream with D-A-Y, D-R-E-A-M. Dream is E-A. His team had a great year. Team. Team. T-E-E-M. T-E-A-M. T-E-Y-M. Team. Guess where do you think that would go? E-A. T-E-A-M is team. They won most of their games and made the playoffs. Lee and his friend Pete were the key players on the team. They were the key players on the team. We have those words. They could both skate quite fast. It seemed that each time Lee passed the puck to Pete, Pete shot it in the net. It seemed. Seemed means like he thought that it could. It seemed like it could. Seemed, S-E-E-M. Seemed, S-E-A-M. Or seemed with a Y in the middle. Where do you think seemed would go? That goes right here. S-E-E-M. And the word in the story is actually seemed. It has an E-D at the end because it already happened. They were both key players on the team. They could both skate quite fast. It seemed that each time Lee passed the puck to Pete, Pete could shoot it in the net. One of the playoff games went into 3 overtimes. The number 3. If you were going to spell the number 3, which you probably know how to spell, which one would it be? 3, T-H-R-E-E, T-H-R-E-A. Which one seems right? T-H-R-E-Y. That doesn't seem right. 3 is actually T-H-R-E-E. The number 3 has the E-E at the end. You can add that to your list under E-E. One of the playoff games went into 3 overtimes. The next team to score would win the game. We have team. All the players felt weak. That's the other one I wanted to talk about. All of the other players felt weak. We already wrote week when we wrote weekend. But we talked about this, that week is the days of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But that's not what this sentence says. It says all of the players felt weak. Weak is like when you're tired. When you're skating really fast for a long time, you can get kind of like weak. That's a different word than days of the week. The word weak, when you feel tired, is actually spelled W-E-A-K. You can add that word under E-A. This kind of week and this kind of week are 2 different words. They mean 2 different things. Even though they sound the same, they don't mean the same thing. So week is like weekend, W-E-E-K, and week, E-A, means, I'm weak and I'm tired and I don't have a lot of energy. We have to make sure when we're reading, when we see this word and we see this word, we understand that it means 2 different things. It's not easy to skate for a long time. Lee's team was short 1 player because Pete was in the penalty box. It seemed like the other team was going to win the game. Lee stole the puck from the other team. He began to skate and picked up speed. He was going very fast. Where would speed go? Speed, S-P-E-E-D, S-P-E-A-D, S-P-E-Y-D, speed, if you're going very fast. Figure out where that one would go. If you picked E-E, you are right. S-P-E-E-D. That means you're going very fast. You can add that one to your list. Lee stole the puck from the other team. He began to pick up speed. He kept his eyes on the net. He snuck past 3 players from the other team. We have 3, and we have team. He shot the puck at the net and saw it fly into the top corner. Lee's team won the big game. We have team. Lee jumped into the air and landed on the ice. All of his teammates leaped on top of him. They leaped on top of him. They jumped on him. They were so happy they won the game. The word leaped, I hear that long E, leaped. L-E-E, L-E-A, L-E-Y-P. Where do you think leaped would go? All of his teammates leaped on top of him. If you picked E-A, you're right, L-E-A-P-E-D. Lee would never forget this game, not even on a hot, steamy summer day. We have steam, and we have the rest of the words in the story. So we wrote all of these words in the story that have the long E sound. Let's read them one more time. You read them this time. Speed, Jeep, Lee, week and, weekend, seemed, 3, eat, steam, heat, dream, team, week. Remember, this one means when you're feeling kind of tired and weak. And EY is he and hockey. Notice that the ones that have Y always have the Y at the end. We usually don't have EY in the middle of the word. Usually if it ends with an E sound, like he and hockey, that one's going to have the EY at the end of the word. So if it ends with the word, it's probably going to be the EY with the hockey at the end. But some words like Lee do have EE at the end. So you just have to kind of remember these words when you're reading. When you're reading stories like this one and you're reading all your stories that you have at home, you're going to have to try to remember what it looks like when you see these words so that when you read it again, you can remember what that looks like and you can figure out if it's an EE, EA, or EY when you're writing them in your notebook. So if you have these in your notebook, what you can do today is you can write a story that has some of these words in it, or you can read a story that you have at home and see if you can find any EE, EA, or EY words in your own book, and then you can add it to your list. I'm going to show you our spelling list for the week. Here is our week 11 spelling list. I want to see if you can see the whole thing. So if you want to write this on your paper, here is your words for the week. Need, teeth, treat, team, key, teach, whose, one, sun, school, move, only, and cheapest. We'll talk about those trick words tomorrow.